can you just please explain to us what this whole mortgage thing is about?
Now, what's the eligibility criteria for you to access the National Housing Fund? Number one, you must be a Nigerian. How much equity you're supposed to make. So the mortgage bank decides pay that mortgage over an extended period of time, up to 30 years. And that is something you can't find in any commercial bank.
Hello everyone, welcome to Investment Talk with Chuka. Last episode it's something slightly different. We brought in a household name, an expert who has done well for himself in his own field. The whole idea of this whole thing is not just to bring experts who will teach you or put you through some of the things we don't know regarding investment in different sectors. We also to bring people who will act as mentors, and that's why we brought in Body last time. We also brought in Baby. We will be bringing in some of these people as time goes by, just also for us to learn. But today we're going to discuss an important topic. We all be talking about shelter, housing, mortgages, facilities, and housing is one of the most important aspects of life. Aside food, housing is the next one, and so it becomes an important topic that we need to take. Because we've done a video on this before, but I'm bringing an expert now who will break it down, so from the elementary aspects to what you and I can understand. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite and welcome Ms. ARIEMI. Is one of the gurus in the field of mortgage. He's going to put us through on how best to go about mortgage facility, also in terms of making money in real estate. So welcome.
So, thank you, Mr. Chuka. Thank you very much.
So, briefly, can you just tell us, when I hear people talk about mortgage facilities and all that, usually a lot of Nigerians, or even me myself, I see it as a government project. You know what you call government project that you never see the end of the day. So, can you just please explain to us what this whole mortgage thing is about?
Okay, so mortgage is basically just helping people fund their dream homes. Some people might want to fund office spaces, residential houses, or commercial properties. But just the funding of those things and giving that person that leverage to pay over an extended period of time is what we refer to as mortgage.
Good. And this is what I want to hear, and this is what I'm sure you guys want to hear. So, if I have a property I want to buy and I don't have the finance, how do I get this mortgage, and how much is it that I'm able to access? And I just want to know how to go about it, and then the benefits.
Okay, so in Nigeria, mortgage is mostly handled by mortgage banks, right? Just like you have the normal deposit money banks, commercial banks, where I've said your money, you put the keep money. You want to take a loan, they can take a loan for these banks. So we have the mortgage banks that provide similar services, but it's time they fund houses. Okay, they fund your houses that you want to buy. So let's say you see a house you'd like to buy. All you need to do is walk into any mortgage bank of your choice and then ask for a mortgage. And depending on the value of that house or the price of that house, so I will use figures. You have a house of 70 million, but you do not have 70 million naira. All you have is 20 million. And you need someone to support you with 50 million. So we approach a mortgage bank and then get a mortgage for 50 million naira, and then pay that mortgage over an extended period of time, up to 30 years, 25 years as the case may. That is something you can't find in any commercial bank. I don't think there is any commercial bank that really tie that depositors for 30 years or 20 years. So that's the difference between the mortgage bank and the commercial banks. Commercial banks also do mortgages. You can walk into a commercial bank and then access money to buy a house, but you can't have 25 years. You don't have 30 years. We only have 20 years. At best, they do 5 years for you or 6 years. So that's the difference between public banks and the commercial banks.
So what's the rate? Okay, let's put it this way. How much can a customer apply for? What is the highest amount you can apply for? What is the interest rate? And then what's duration?
Okay, so for mortgages, there's no ceiling to how much you can apply for. What we just have is the price complex. There's the equity portion and then there's the mortgage portion. So the mortgage bank decides how much equity you're supposed to make depending on the value of the property and how much they'll be willing to finance for you to pay over an extended period of time.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are different mortgage products that offer different values, right? So what I want people to know, because if you want to get that mortgage from a mortgage bank, you most likely be seeing rates for upwards of 30%. CBN's MPR is already above 27%. What that means is that you can't find any facility below. So and mortgages are not like your normal consumer loans where you get 5 million, 10 million. You're looking for 50 million for 100 million. So imagine you taking 100 million at say 30%. It's outrageous. Mortgages outside Nigeria are usually single digits, and very low single digit zero. So you can imagine you can't take a mortgage for 30%. And that's where we have so many other stakeholders in the business that have made mortgage simpler. So I'll just give us some of the stakeholders that have made this easy. There's the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. That's the most popular one. And then there is the Family Host Fund Limited. There is also one coming up best. We call it the EGBE as Ministry of Finance Real Estate Investment Fund. It's still work in progress, not fully operational, but that's one of the things that's coming up. So for the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, they offer this national housing fund loans to individuals.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want that, though, all you need to do is kick a mortgage bank of choice.
Yeah.
And then apply to the mortgage bank for a facility. So I'll just give us the characteristics of the national housing fund bill. You can get up to 50 million naira at 6% per annum for a tenure up to 30 years. The maximum tenure is 30 years. But the tenure is subject to your age. And the maximum amount you can apply for is also subject to what the mortgage contribution is. Now, what's the eligibility criteria for you to access the National Housing Fund bill? Number one, you must be a Nigerian above 21 years of age. Okay. Second, you must be a contributor to the National Housing Fund scheme. And what that means that every month you contribute a certain percent of your monthly salary into the National Housing Fund scheme. So it's just like opening an account to the commercial. And the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is the body that manages the National Housing Fund. So all of the monies that are deducted or that you pay every month towards that contribution goes to the Federal Mortgage Bank. You have an account number there. So you can walk into FMB and request for your account statement. There's even a portal where you can check your contributions over time. So that's one. That's the second criteria. And then number three, you must have steady source of income. Okay. Because we want to be sure that you can really pay. So if you meet these three criteria, you can apply for it.
So how long will it take? What's the time frame?
So typically, from application to when you get disbursement, it will take say 3 months, 6 months. But it will also depend on how properly those applications are packaged. Okay. There are some certain documents that they would require, maybe from the seller side and also from the subscriber side. From what we have experienced, we usually don't have problems with the document that we get from the buyers. Yeah, so of course, Imubati must have the registered title. Yeah. Anybody who wants to sell his property through mortgage must have the registered title. Oh, that's basic. Yeah. And then there should be an approved business plan. Yeah. Any developer knows what to do. Always do the right thing. Should have an approved business plan. And then there is the environmental impact assessment report.
Okay.
Yeah, so the environmental impact assessment report was recently introduced by Federal Mortgage Bank. Prior to January 2024, that was not a requirement. Prior to January 2024, the approvability plan was also not a requirement. But in January 2024, all of these were introduced, and that was when the amount was also increased to 15. Maximum was 15 before that. So you find many developers who have registered titles, but they do not have any building approvals, or some who have building approvals do not have environmental impact assessment box. Now, if you know, going by what's happening in Lagos State, you don't want to go into an investment, then 10 years down the line, the state government is coming to bring down your property. So if you have an environmental impact assessment report for that property, we would have checked, that ugly incident from the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
So what that report tends to do is tell you the extent to which that project affects the environment, the degree to which that project conforms with the urban regional planning development laws of Lagos State.
Okay.
So if you get that report, you can be able to say, okay, this project that are keen into. The fence is less than 5 meters from the canal, That's against what Lagos State wants. And then there are some other areas you also have to look at. Is this estate overpopulated? There are regulations that tell you how many units should be in like 1,000 square meter, depending on the category of that area. Some areas in Lagos are classified as low density, that we don't consider it's high density. So they will tell you for low density, if you have more than maybe 30 units in a 1,000 square meter space. Yeah. The environmental impact assessment report is very important. FMBN now amongst that report. And so many developers will have that. So you find a situation where you submitted an application without the environmental impact assessment report.
It's a part of what the exact takes time.
Yes.
And so this environmental assessment document is actually also help to mitigate against building collapse, like that. Also, okay, well, I mean, there's some time when you see building being erected and then you see this red mark.
Yeah, so exactly. So if there is an environmental, for instance, if you put your first less than 5 meters away from a national village, you expect to see the expo. Okay, definitely. But if you had engaged the town planner to prepare an environmental impact assessment report for that project, the town planner would have advised you that going by your drawings that you are submitted to be in this report, this is your first, is within right of way. You need to shoot.
Yeah,
so that report will tell you about that.
But is there a way that because sometimes you see people complain about, I have approval for this, and then the next thing government comes and brings it down. They say that there are people in should I use the word now, Alausa, where you're supposed to get this information, in Lagos, or as the case may be. I mean, other states have their own. Is it that there are people in those ministries that don't really know what the actual planning structure is? Because I want my viewers to be protected and to know how they can be protected in times of erecting a building, and then the next thing you see the red mark, and the next thing somebody has started mal.
Yes, so I think what happens mostly is you have your drawing and you're supposed to submit your drawings to the authorities. Sometimes you see people who have already increased and then they are submitting these things to the authority. So what they are doing most of the time is trying to get as built approval. You're already built before taking these things to the authority. But it's supposed to have taken these things to the authority, get the approval, and then you're supposed to replicate what is on that approval. And then they've tried to pass their way on the authorities, see that they get approval because they don't want to bring down whatever they talk.
Yeah.
If you might get away with it, but one day someone who knows the right thing, someone different from the person you met at the office, he come and then say, okay, you know what, we're doing the right thing, we're bringing this thing down. So those are some of the things that happened. Although the Lagos State, sometime last year, they opened the window for people to get as built building blocks.
Okay.
For those very old houses that were there before the urban regional line development. So I've already built before that part. So all I need to do is get my building drawings to Lagos State Factory. So there was that window.
Okay, guys, you've heard it. I know that this topic is a very vast topic, but for sake of time, we will stop here, and then hopefully subsequently we can then bring you over. I would like to thank you so much for coming around and then breaking it down for us. So guys, till next time, this is your investment advisor, Chuka Nwachukwu.